So I have not done one of these videos in quite some time. This is my 2022 room tour. Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys. I'm Jacob, aka Jacob's Toys. You know the deal, press all the buttons and all that kind of stuff. It's much appreciated. So it's 2022 and I haven't done a video like this for quite some time, but I get quite a lot of questions across some of the different videos to do like a room tour or a more in-depth look at a particular part of my collection. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw it all together in one and do a quick room tour. Now I say room tour, it's not really a room tour. What you see is my room. I've got one of these kind of external rooms from the house. One of the big questions that I always get asked is, do your figures fall down? Well, the simple answer is yes, they do. Because I'm external from the house, the temperature does fluctuate a little bit in my room. If it's particularly hot, then it gets very hot in here. If it's particularly cold, it gets quite cold in here. And I find much as the same as a lot of collectors, during the summer months, that's where figures start to get a little bit wobbly. But for the most part, they do tend to behave and stay in place. So the idea of this video is just to run you through my collections and kind of what's on the other side of the camera, etc. And just kind of show you a little bit behind the scenes. So here it is. Here's my 2022 room tour. So this particular part of the room is the little bit more messy. This is kind of my customizing station, and I do tend to take some of my photographs here as well, but it's cool because I can out of focus a bit, but I can kind of change the background and whatnot. There's a handful of bits and pieces. There's some of my Loom Cube lights and some bits from customizing a couple of the figures as well. A nice Black Panther card that I got with the Black Panther figures from Hasbro and Smiths, and this is my kind of accessories element. So I've got all the little bits here, so I'm a bit kind of OCD when it comes to kind of keeping things in the right places. So as you can see, there's all the little pieces, little bits and pieces, and I've got like kind of miscellaneous pieces as well. But in all my drawers, there's all the little accessories and things I use for customizing and stuff like that. And then on top, there's a couple of random pieces. My oldest Spider-Man figure that I got when I was a kid, he just sort of stays in my office, a bit of a mascot. Got a couple of pops there as well, various different heads that I'm working on as well. This is quite cool. I think that's quite a cool little custom head there for the Mandarin. And then up here as well, I've got some of the backgrounds that go with the 20th anniversary figures, and I've got that Spider-Man with the articulated toes that's quite new. Here's my custom figure of myself that RDJ Custom Creations made the head for me, which is really cool. Put it on a Wolverine body and change the shoes. Got Rhino, Killmonger, got my Crow, Red Ninjas there, got Stan Lee as well. But there are ones that I've not really put anywhere at the moment. These shelves over here are really messy, so I've got my VHS boxes that I need to do something proper with, and I've got a handful of bits for customizing and taking photos and whatnot. But then above that, I've got all my props and replicas. So I've got the Lego Baby Groot, I've got a Stan Lee bust, the Tesseract, the Eye of Agamotto, the awesome mixtape as well. I've got a Spider-Man helmet, the War Machine helmet. I've got the what's it called, the Nano Gauntlet, is that one? Maestro there with Jurassic Park dinosaur, because why not? And then on top of it here, I've got some of my bigger figures as well. So I've got a War Machine Buster custom that I did, the Spider Hulk, and then a few more as well. And then you come down on this side, I've got kind of my workstation, but I've got a load more of my customs and photography pieces. So they're all boxed, they're all in there. So let me just have a look. So as I said, I get quite OCD, so I've got some various different props and pieces and some random figures there for backgrounds, like soldiers and stuff. Got some effect pieces, got stands, got more effects. I've got a whole bunch of bits and pieces of bodies that I use for customs. Part of a Mandroid there, that's not finished. Coats, guns, limbs. Got a handful of Ravengers that I'm working on there, and some other customs, some other bits and pieces. I've got like a whole bunch of male heads. There's some more there on this shelf as well. A couple of books as well. Just various different hands and bits and pieces. Like right down to sort of like TVs and bits and bobs. And then in here as well, I've got like, let's just put them down. Got like all the effect pieces, as you can see. Actually, I'll get that one out because that's quite cool. That's quite a cool box. Let's have a look. Yeah, so build a figure pieces as well. And then this is like all your effect pieces. That's pretty cool. That does look nice. But I don't tend to use them. I don't tend to use them on displays, but I do use them in photography. So I want to keep them all kind of nice so that I know where they are, and they're all Iron Man pieces. But as you can imagine, when you get kind of the same effect pieces over and over again, it does get quite frustrating. I got some diorama pieces as well, ACBA sticker as well that they sent me when I bought some of the cutouts, I think it was. Not quite at their level, but I'd try my best. So yeah, so that's all my kind of customs and accessories and stuff. So moving over from where I sit, I've got my first cabinet. Now at the top here, actually let's have a look on top. I've got a few Star Wars pieces, so a couple of Star Wars figures and that Lego Millennium Falcon, and of course Yoda. And then in the top I've got my Marvel Legends 3 3/4 inch retro waves, missing the most recent waves. I haven't purchased those yet, so I do need to get those. And then at the back I've got the boxed figures still. So, but I just think they look really cool on the shelf. There's a lot of colours, and they kind of hit and miss. People either love them or hate them, but I really enjoy them as a figure, and they look really cool on display as well. I've got a different stand than I've got in my other shelves, just because I thought it highlighted these figures quite nicely. Go down and we've got all of the AIM kind of army builders, the various 2-packs and single pack releases with MODOK at the back there, and then right next to it we've got Hydra with a couple of Hydra soldiers, various different ones, and obviously a new Red Skull and Madam Hydra as well. So, but I just like them as two kind of bad guy factions next to each other. Go down, it's a bit of a mixed matched shelf. I've got all of my Shield guys here. I put Nick Fury in the Gamerverse Captain America suit just because I wanted him to stand out a little bit from all of the different characters and stuff. Really love the fact that they gave us kind of female Shield agents now as well. And then I've got a handful of various different customs that I've been working on. So I've got a couple of the zombies next to the zombies Captain America. I've got like a Punisher there as well. I've got a Thor Ragnarok Thor from the opening scenes of Thor Ragnarok with the Surtur skull on his back, which is quite cool. I like that custom. But these ones haven't really got a place, if you know what I mean. I don't know where I'm going to put them. So this is kind of a holding pen, if you like. And I've got my Sentinels at the back there as well. And then at the bottom, I've got various different Sentinel pieces that came with the HasLab project and the Mandalorian helmet, Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, and of course Grogu as well. So that's a bit of a random cabinet, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's move over and have a look at some of the others. The Amazing Fantasy canvas there, and some trading cards in a frame as well. And then I've got my first cabinet here. Let's move my camera out of the way. Oh, let me have a look at this as well, because this is a brilliant book. If you haven't got this book, I'd definitely recommend picking it up. 75 years of cover art, which is a really cool book by DK. It's really thick, but it's great for some inspiration in regards to photographs and poses and whatnot. So let's have a look at this first cabinet. So there we go. Now this one again is a bit of a mixed match. I'm in the middle stages of kind of moving my collection around, because at one point during my kind of collection life they had a place, they all kind of had a different section, but in recent years they've released so many random figures that I need to work on where people are going to go. So the majority of this shelf is various different Wolverine and Cyclops customs that I've put in there. My Angel custom that's on the Cyclops body with the Havoc head. I've got the Hellfire Club at the back, Namor, Black Panther, She-Hulk. So yeah, some cool figures there. Moving down, this is kind of the rogues gallery, if you like. So there's just kind of a handful of various different characters that I didn't quite know where to put, or if it's characters like Domino, I've already got a Domino in the correct place. But yeah, so that's that one there. Moving down, we've got again another kind of random rogues gallery. As you can see, just it's not quite a rogues gallery, that's the wrong thing to call it, but it's just a random mix of figures that I didn't really know where else to put. And then down here we've got like an MCU
or a Marvel Cinematic Universe sort of legacy shelf, if you like. So I've got the Eternals at the back there, as well as all the Deadpool and X-Men figures from the various different movies. And I've got my own little custom here of Deadpool from the Wolverine film, because it was an awful film, but I needed a figure of it to go alongside my other 6 inches. So yeah, there we go. So I quite like that shelf, even though it's at the bottom. But that's again why I want to kind of move them around, because some of them aren't in prime position when I'd like them to be. I think what we'll do is we'll have a look on top of the cabinets now. So this is where I've put all of my builder figures. Well, I say all of my builder figures, it's not all of them. These are ones that I just don't know where to put them. I don't know whereabouts they need to go. So I've got a handful there, custom blob at the back there, because I sold my blob builder figure years back, and I'm really annoyed that I did, because the value shot up and it's really hard to get here now. But I've got a feeling we've got another blob on the way, so not too worried about that. My weapon H at the back as well. So yeah, so they're just some bigger figures that I don't quite know where to put them. And then coming down, we'll have a look at this cabinet. So this was my MCU shelf originally, but then they just continue to release MCU figure after MCU figure. So this is where I've got kind of my original lineup. So I've got Nick Fury there, Hulk, Black Widow, Thor, like the more original looking Thor, Captain America as well, but I put the Infinity War Captain America in there. Obviously we've got Maria Hill there and Coulson. Got my custom banner, my custom Ultron bot at the back there, and then there's the official banner at the back. Got Vision, Baron Zemo, and then the Miss Marvel figures as well, because it was a good line of figures, but not so good. I think one of my favourites on this shelf is Crossbones, without a doubt. I've got a War Machine in there as well. Falcon up on the side, another Iron Man. And you move down slightly below it and you've got another MCU shelf. This is more of a kind of a modern MCU shelf, I guess, if that's what you would call it, because you've got all the What If figures in there and the Spider-Man figures as well. Now, I didn't expect that there was going to be as many Spider-Man figures available as there are, so I kind of originally thought, oh, I'll have a little setup of Spider-Man figures on this shelf, but then we got loads, so I need to rearrange that a little bit. And we got Movie Venom in there as well, just because, why not? And then that's my sort of repainted US Agent, because it wasn't painted correctly, so I had to adjust that. And then just hide in there as well, we got Toby Mcguire Spider-Man, and as you can see over here we've got Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. So I'm really looking forward to updating those with the new Hasbro ones when they come out. Moving down below him, it's kind of Captain America and Hydra at the back. A handful of customs in there as well. Some of the Gamerverse stuff as well. And then at the front we've got the Netflix kind of wave. It was a wave, wasn't it, of Netflix figures. I've got a custom Punisher Blade in there as well, and a custom Whiplash, a custom black suited Daredevil, and then a new Ned and Peter 2-pack, and a custom Iron Fist in there as well. And then right at the bottom, bit of a weird mix. Got a load of Deadpool figures at the front, and then at the back it's kind of Asgardians, I guess. So characters from Thor comics, and then Hydra Bob as well. Why not? Oh, and there's my Hydra Captain Hydra, or Hydra Soldier, or whatever you want to call it, like a custom I did a while back. But yeah, I mean, again, it's got some cool figures on there, and it's just kind of hidden at the bottom, so I do need to move them around. Moving on to the next one. This one is definitely a little bit more organised. So my top shelf is Spider Universe, or Spider-Geddon, if you want to be true to the comics. But it's basically as many Spider-Man suits and versions that I could get on one shelf. So I've got everything from kind of Gamerverse to like Gamerverse Miles Morales, to some of the older figures, to some of my custom figures like Wolf Spider up the back there. He's up here. Yeah, but Hasbro are just pumping the Spider-Man out, especially this year with the anniversary year. So I can't actually fit any more in there. I think I'm pretty chock-a-block in there. And that's kind of my original black and white cel-shaded Spider-Man I did ages ago, before the cel shading was a thing. It was kind of inspired by the Jim Lee Blue Line figures, I think they were, in DC. We had the Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman, and I thought, oh, it'd be cool to have a Spider-Man, so that's what I did. So he looks quite cool. But yeah, so there's all my spider folk, all my spider people. But I do need to mix that around a little bit because I've got a lot more than what's on that shelf because of the anniversary stuff. Underneath here is the Spider-Man villain shelf, or the A-list villain shelf, I think I called it, because it's got the kind of some of the big players in there, like Green Goblin. I've got a custom Mary Jane there using the new head that came with Spinneret. I've got the original Dr. Octopus with the custom legs. What are they called? Gone blank. But his octopus legs. So they're fully movable, and that was quite a popular mod that people did when that figure came out. They're USB lights essentially. But if you've not done it, then do check out my Instagram page. I think I did a step-by-step on there before I started doing YouTube videos. So yeah, so there's my Spider-Man villains. You see Silvermane at the back there as well. Got him up there before they announced that new Silvermane in that 5-pack. And then underneath them you've got your symbiotes. So this is kind of as many symbiotes as I could fit on a shelf. Slightly different way of displaying these, just because there's some big figures there with the Monster Venom and Toxin. So I've just kind of moved them around a little bit. But that's obviously going to need a shuffle as well, because we've got a whole bunch of new symbiotes coming as well. I kind of wish they carried on with this line, the Venomized line, and we got more Venomized characters, because the Venomized Captain America at the front here is one of my favourite symbiote figures. I just think the detail on him is absolutely awesome, and he's definitely one of my kind of favourite symbiotes. And I think the Miles is really cool, and so is the Gwen. So yeah, I've got a couple of customs. It's like a Wolverine and a Deadpool Venomized as well. And then underneath you've got the kind of Z-list Spider-Man villains and some of the doubles like Hobgoblin and Sandman. Cloak and Dagger's down here though. I don't know why I've got them down on the bottom shelf, because I really like Cloak and Dagger. You can see Frogman's kind of fallen, Stiltman's there. I've got a Mr. Negative that I did, a custom of him when the game came out. And now we're obviously going to get an official one, which is cool. And then at the front I've got my Into the Spider-Verse figures, and I really hope they continue with this line, especially when the new film comes out, because that'd be quite cool to have like just a display of just the Into the Spider-Verse figures, just because they've got that kind of unique animation looking head sculpt, hence why none of my characters got their masks on, because I quite enjoy the head sculpts. And of course I've got 2 Spider-Hams, because 2 of the figures came with Spider-Ham, which is annoying. Moving up to the top, so that's 3 cabinets down. I've got my Endgame, Infinity War Endgame kind of set up, if you like. So it's all of the characters that I could double up on. So where there's sort of doubles of figures, I thought I'll put them up here on this Endgame display. It was just quite a simple display piece that I built. I think I originally built it for Star Wars figures, but I didn't want to just get rid of it, so I thought I would keep it and use it for this. And I've got my Avengers Campus, that's in Disney. I've got my Avengers Compound logo diorama as well. And as you can see there as well, just hiding in the back is my little custom Howard the Duck, that we are obviously getting an official one from the What If series, but I did him just because he does feature in Endgame. Comes out in that battle scene, doesn't he? So yeah, so these are kind of my doubled up figures, the ones that I've already got one of them somewhere. It's like Captain America, Iron Man and Thor. Those 3 obviously go into an Endgame display, but things like Star-Lord and Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Black Panther, I wanted to put them all together in like an Endgame display. So there's that. Next one is, see, none of them fall down when I open it up. The next one is my Iron Man shelf. This is my Hall of Armour. Now in my old room, before I built this room, I had a Hall of Armour diorama, which was quite cool with all the cabinets and sections and stuff. But I didn't want to bring that over to this room. It was quite big, took up a lot of space, and I got rid of that and had the Endgame Infinity War display instead. But I decided to just put all of my Iron Man characters in one shelf. So there's a couple of customs in there as well, and there are a couple of gaps where I've moved figures on where they'll just look a little bit dated, and I thought, you know what, we're probably going to get an updated version at some point, so I've moved those on and passed them on to new collectors or other collectors. So I've got a couple of spots free for some new Iron Man figures. One I'm definitely looking forward to a re-release of is the Mark V. This is such a dated figure now, but one that so many people chase after. So come on Hasbro, give us a new Mark V. And he just looks really tiny now compared to the other ones as well. So let me just put him in there. Underneath Iron Man, and here is my Thor shelf. So a lot of different versions of Thor and Thor characters. I really should put that Ragnarok Thor in here, if I'm honest. There's a space there next to Heimdall and Hela, so maybe I'll move them around. Jane is actually a Diamond Select as well. I just took her feet off so that she was the same kind of height. Love Korg. I think he's fantastic. Brilliant character. But then we did get a new version, didn't we, with the Love and Thunder wave, so I've got to put him somewhere. And there's my Endgame custom quantum suits. I did loads of posts on these and they were really popular, and loads of people did them afterwards as well. I'm not saying I came up with the idea, because at the end of the day all I did was paint the grey figures that Hasbro gave us white, so it wasn't exactly a genius idea, but I definitely managed to get the whole team kind of done. The one character I haven't done is Thor, only because I really like the Build-A-Figure Thor, and I think he looks really in keeping, where you've got all the others in the suit and then you've got Thor in his dressing gown with his sunglasses. But I still really like them as a set, so they look really cool at the back. Underneath them we've got kind of a bit of a mix match of MCU figures. So we've got the Black Widow figures here, we've got some Doctor Strange figures, we've got the Shang-Chi figures, Ant-Man figures. Definitely love that Yellow Jacket figure, that's an awesome figure. Really disappointed the character kind of got killed off, because I would have liked to have seen him again. And then all of the original Black Panther figures that came out. So what was it, 2 waves I think, and a couple of box sets as well. A lot of those have been re-released now in the new Legacy line, and we've got the Wakanda Forever figures coming out soon as well, which randomly include Everett Ross, so there's going to be an updated version of him. Underneath here we've got our Fantastic Fours. Oh, I've dropped her. Where is she? She's down there. Sue Storm has kind of done a nosedive, so she's fallen down. But yeah, Fantastic Four is a weird one because they were really difficult to get hold of originally. She's not going to play ball. I know she is. There we go. Let's just stand them up. There we go. So originally they released the Walgreens exclusives. So you got Thing there, Human Torch, Sue Storm, and Miss Fantastic. And then they did the more modern suits, and then recently they've done the retro carded ones. I've got my own Future Foundation sort of set up there as well. Dr. Doom's just covering Sue up. But yeah, I did my own Future Foundation setup. So I've got Spider-Man and Sue and Mr. Fantastic and the Thing. Silver Surfer there as well. Got a load of Skrull and all the various different versions of Doctor Doom. That's actually a custom white Doctor Doom that I did before we got that God Doom that came out recently in the Super Villains wave. But yeah, it's my Fantastic Four shelf, which is pretty cool. And I've got Alligator Loki down there for some unknown reason. Probably to go alongside my little Frog Thor that's there. So let's move on to the next shelf. So the next shelf, a couple of random Fantastic Four figures and a Mojo there, and a couple of diorama pieces. I've been saving this little bit of real estate on top of this cabinet for something, not quite sure what yet, but being saved for something. So on the top we've got X-Men, so various different X-Men. Now this is a real mixed match because as you can see I've got like the Cel-Shaded Wolverine here and the Cel-Shaded Storm, the new Morph figure, alongside really random ones like the retro carded Rogue, a custom Iceman, custom Emma Frost, and then Strong Guy. Got some new mutants in there as well. Phantom X, Deadpool's in there as well. Banshee, a custom Banshee. Beast with a custom head on, and Nightcrawler. So that's just kind of my premium X-Men shelf, shall we say. And then underneath there's more X-Men. So we've got the Cuckoos, we've got Magic, she's a really sought after figure. The Jubilee, Wave, Storm, and again I did have that whole wave as well with Strife and everyone, and I kind of sold them on, and kind of kicking myself for doing that now because that was a really small but quite sought after wave. But yeah, just some really random X-Men figures and some double ups. There's a couple of extra Iceman figures and Storm figures. Another Namor there. I think that was the Walgreens exclusive Namor. But yeah, I mean it's a cool shelf, but just a little bit random. Don't really know what to do with that. Captain Britain at the front though. Underneath we've got a handful of the bad guys. Everyone from Juggernaut right over to Scarlet Witch along with Magneto. Dark Phoenix, yes there's the Dark Phoenix, and Cyclops above her there from the Toys R Us 2-pack. Mystique, she's another really sought after one, but I'm pretty sure that once that VHS one comes out, this one won't be as sought after because everyone will be able to get their hands on a Mystique. Sauron's a cool figure, I really like that. He's really big though, so I kind of put him up on the wall. And then just a handful of really random characters. Shadow King head that came with Xavier, the Rider's Xavier. I've just put him on a Kingpin Build-A-Figure body, painted the hands. And then underneath, anyway, we've got another random sort of selection of X-Men figures. Now these shelves are a little bit more sparse because I know there's more figures coming, so I've tried to kind of move things around and keep some space for some of the new figures. But this is mainly the Age of Apocalypse figures. I need to get Apocalypse down there really. But it's a cool line, I really liked it. Let's move over to the next shelf, and I would say the last one, but it's not, it's the last in this line. We have got I call this kind of my classic shelf because it's the kind of classic and retro versions of the figures. I've got to do this one at an angle because stupidly I put up another cabinet and I put it too close to this one. So I can still see everything, but it's hard to get a camera in there. And then I started putting stuff in the new cabinet instead of actually moving it. But yes, this is my retro stroke classic shelf. So a lot of these figures are what came on the retro card originally, or they're the more classic version of the characters, or the 80th anniversary versions of the characters. But it's kind of my Avengers, my extended Avengers shelf. Underneath that we've got a really random mix of characters, a couple of customs in there as well. Everything from the US Agent, White Vision, AI Iron Man, obviously got Ironheart there as well, the Sam Wilson Captain America, Modular Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Yellow Suit Daredevil, Wonder Man, Union Jack, Punisher, this goes on and on. And then underneath them we've got a couple of different teams. So we've got Alpha Flight, they're all here. So this was quite an easy one to complete because it was essentially a box set and a couple of single releases. So we've got X-Force over here as well. So we had the X-Force Deadpool and the X-Force Wolverine, Shatterstar, Deathlock, etc, etc. And then I just customized a handful of others just to kind of go in with them. I created my own sort of Thunderbolts. Gonna set up. Oh, Elektra's fallen down there, look at that. So it's not too bad out of all the figures that we've come across. Only a couple of them have actually fallen down. So let's see if I can put her back. So yeah, so it's kind of my custom Thunderbolts. You got Red Hulk, Agent Venom, Ghost Rider, Deadpool, Punisher, Elektra. That's quite cool. And then just a random couple of X-Men down there as well that I didn't really have a place for at the moment. And then this bottom shelf here is just some really random X-Men, sort of from the more recent waves. Yeah, there's not much to say about that shelf at all. That's my kind of my work in progress shelf, shall we say. So that's at the bottom corner of my room though, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's close that one and I'll show you. I put this cabinet way too close. So on top of this one I've got a couple of the newer figures that I've picked up that I haven't put into their places yet, so they're all there. Randomly some Ghostbusters on the back there and some Thanos alternate Thanos versions. But then in this cabinet we've got the Riders figures, and I love the Riders figures. They haven't done one for quite some time, so I really hope that they do one soon. I think it was 2019 they did the last one with Cosmic Ghost Rider, maybe 2020. And I put the Build-A-Figure Sam Wilson Captain America there as well, just because he spreads out across the whole shelf, so it looks quite cool. You got Black Widow, Logan, Captain America, Squirrel Girl, Deadpool, and then underneath you've got Cosmic Ghost Rider, Punisher, and of course Ghost Rider, which we've seen a new version of Ghost Rider coming out very, very soon. And I have got the others, they're over here in this cabinet. See Ghost Riders at the back there, and I've got a Robbie Reyes custom. Oh, and I've got another custom down there as well for the Thunderbolts. But I love Ghost Rider, so I'm really excited for what's coming out this year. Underneath here we've got my Sentinel, the HasLab Sentinel, which is a really cool figure. And I've put him on 2 shelves, and I've just kind of cut a hole in the shelf so that I can display figures around him. But I'm not quite finished with him yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with this shelf, but at the moment I just seem to kind of be slotting X-Men in where I've got a bit of space. I'm just kind of like, don't know where this one's going to go, so I'm going to put this one in. Or like these ones, like Storm and Jean, where I've replaced Storm in the display with the Cel-Shaded one. I'll put this one in here. So, and there's Professor X, he's Ryder's figure as well. Not quite sure what he's doing though. Doesn't look like he's doing much. But yeah, so that's the Sentinel. Let's move over to the last cabinet. And the last one's not very exciting at all. So I've got a handful of the Doctor Strange figures that again I haven't even done anything with. These 2 cabinets are a bit of a work in progress. So yeah, so don't judge me too much. But I've got the Doctor Strange figures there. Underneath I've got some of the Thor Love and Thunder figures and a couple of the other figures that came in. Waves like Vulcan and stuff. Down here I've got a couple of Thor figures. Oh, and Diamond Select Watcher just having a nap. There you go. I think that's the 3rd figure that's fallen over in this video. And underneath I've got the 12-inch Captain America and Thor. I've got the Hydra Stomper. And we've got the Bone Breaker Build-A-Figure with Lady Deathstrike and some other team members there as well. So yeah, so that's it. That takes you to the last of my cabinets. And for any of the people that are kind of eagle-eyed, yes, on the ceiling I've got all my movie posters. So I've got all the MCU movie posters dotted around the ceiling in various different places. Just going around the walls, just printed those out. Creates a really nice kind of display on the ceiling, which is quite cool. So yeah, so there we go. So that is my room tour. That's me having a look at all my different cabinets.
Thanks very much for watching, it's very much appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all of those things. If you want to get yourself one of these really cool Legends Collector t-shirts, then check out the description of the video and there's a link how you can get one of those there. Until next time, I'll see you soon.